right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I got a couple things going on. Make sure all the cells go in here. Guys, welcome to the show. Just kind of getting everything up. Got Instagram going. I started Instagram to kind of get a little bit of a, because it's that live feel, right? I'm just sharing this out, just kind of getting a couple of these things going. And guess what? Totally forgot they're there, and they're like watching me. I'm like talking to myself, singing, and they're giving me hearts. Like, I was just kind of funny this morning. At least I thought it was pretty funny. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. If you haven't already, would you please share this out on Periscope? Thank you, guys. I am watching you guys on Periscope, and I'm actually trying to catch over and bring up. There we go, Live Talk Nation. There we go. So it's over there, guys. If you guys missed my selfie this morning, I've got blab on my heart today. No, it's just my shirt. I got that happy mug shot. So if you can and would, share this out, all right? With that, hey, let's start the show. Welcome. My name is Jonathan Tripp. I am the host of today's show. Our first segment is always Talk Social News, where we talk a little bit about what's going on in social media, not just marketing talk, not just biz talk, although I kind of personally find that interesting. But we do try to make it so that enough people can watch and listen, because it's trying to make it useful. And I was going through this week, and I'll be honest, I had a little, usually there's like big standouts in the news. I was struggling this week, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, I was. But I'm okay with that. Thank you guys for joining us today. A couple of just housekeeping announcements. We are going to do an after party today in Smile Time. All right. The other thing is, guys, if you haven't already, if you're watching us in Instagram, you guys can join. You can join us over on Periscope or Facebook, depending on what you hate more. But if you guys are, for everybody that's actually watching in Live Talk Nation, it's great to see you guys. This show is for you today. So here is the deal. All right. We are actually, I've got a couple of names and got a couple of people, but I wanted to encourage you, if you haven't already, and it's at all interesting to you, and you'd like to maybe be a part of the production team, maybe contributing or putting some things together, or maybe you're not even quite sure, but you'd like to be a part maybe of like the moderation team for Live Talk Nation, please reach out to me and let me know. Because I'm talking to people and I've got some things I'd like to get going, but I need some help. I need help. How many times do you hear somebody say that? And so just for the record, hey, good morning, Terry. And I've got the screen up for Facebook over there. Terry and Kim and Cindy, thank you guys for watching. I know there's more people out there, but if you would, share this out to your channel. Okay, so having said that, here, I need another mug shot for the day. There we go. How about that? Okay. So, guys, what is actually going on in social media news that is actually interesting to you? All right, I'm gonna suggest that there's a couple of things that really that just kind of stood out in my mind. Okay, one of these things is this whole, and we talked a little bit about it last week, is this whole idea that Instagram is growing up, and it's becoming this monster platform with all the Snapchat innovations, and now it's become where it's at, right? If you want to be on Instagram and you want to be a part of, you want to be a part of the scene where people notice you, and you want all the features that are there. And I'm not gonna lie, I love Instagram. And for those of you guys that are actually watching live on Instagram, you guys know that I love Instagram. Okay, that's probably my favorite platform. It's probably my main platform. It's where I actually meet most of the people. It's not hating on Twitter or Facebook, maybe a little bit on LinkedIn, because I still don't quite understand how that all works in real practical terms. It doesn't seem to be working for me. probably for a couple of reasons. But anyway, for those of you guys that do get it though, Instagram is a great place to be. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think we're being lied to. I think we're being lied to with the fact of they're really good marketers. The PR people over at Instagram, they need the gold medal in PR because they're making it seem like everybody all the time is on Instagram and Instagram stories, and that Snapchat is just where everybody hates to be now. At least that's the story that they would want you to believe. Because with Instagram hitting 170 million users, active users, and describing the use of stories as it's rampant, it's everybody's out there, and you're using it and things like this. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, okay? I think it's a big PR spin, personally, okay? I think Instagram is counting an active user as someone that checked it. They viewed it for, on average, what is it, like 15 minutes a day? 15 minutes a day, which is not a bad metric. However, when you compare it to maybe say what Snapchat's reporting of between a half hour and 60 minutes a day, active use, you're going to tell me you'd rather have more people with less engagement time than maybe a smaller, more niche opportunity that spend a lot more time watching your content and engaging with each other, maybe talking about your content. Come on, guys. I understand the opportunities, but what I don't like is when I feel lied to. And that's exactly what's happened. I feel like I'm being lied to. So, Instagram, it's time to be a little bit more transparent. It's time to be a little bit more forthcoming with how do you actually calculate your numbers? How do you actually get to the metrics that say that you're blowing everybody else out the water? Personally, I just don't believe it. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, kind of moving on to another, Facebook is reporting that it's allowing some of the content owners to claim ad earnings on some of the pirated videos. And I was like, what? How is that even possible? Well, here's the deal, okay? Facebook is finally finding this solution that YouTube has had. Believe it or not, actually Periscope has had too, where there's this common practice, okay? And we all know it, where they take your videos, somebody takes your videos and they download it. How many of you guys have actually done or seen somebody that puts together this really great ad or this really great explainer video and then somebody else downloads it and puts it up on their page? Yeah, it's called stealing. It's a form of it's digital piracy. All right. But here's the thing. There's a common place where you can actually download somebody else's video or content and you can put it up on somebody else's page. Well, apparently, Facebook Rights Manager has been updated recently, and it's going to allow people to be able to claim different kind of earnings on other people's uploads if they can prove and verify that they're actually the owner and originator of the content. So, I mean, that's just a really good idea, and I like that option. I need sound effects. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. I love it. No, but I think this is really something that we're hopefully, because of how big Facebook is and how many users and how much content is on there, and I don't really care the exact numbers. It's not a competition in this regard. I think the issue is that somebody with this much content, period, is seeing that they need to change the way that content is being consumed and giving credit to those who actually made it. I think it will alleviate a lot of the other issues that we're having, which is, hey, I made that. Why can't I do anything about it? Now, I don't know how this is actually going to work when it comes to broadcasting with live video that you have the rights to. This is an issue that I've come in, very, very close contact with in just producing shows and going live and things like this. When you add music or other people's copyrighted material, there are algorithms out there that block you. They stop you. And I appreciate that on the one hand. However, well, what if I already have the rights, but it's maybe owned by a different company, but I already have the permission, but now I can't go live? It kind of defeats the whole purpose of going live. So knowing that, you got to find a way around it. And I think that what they're doing right now, is a good first step to help prevent people from just ripping off other people's work. I know not everybody agrees with me, and I'm okay with that. So beyond that, what I found funny this week were like other news stories, things like Snapchat is getting rid of the white border around their old memories. Guys, I don't think that's really a feature. Okay, I really don't. I don't think that's a feature. I don't think it's something that we have to worry about. Okay, I really don't. But instead, what I would like to focus on is, how about this? What if you could go to Twitter and literally have not just Twitter, but what if you could go to almost any brand, any platform, and have a place where you can produce, or you can consume live content 24/7. And I don't mean in terms of like you can just search for something, or somebody just happens to be going live somewhere and they've got their phone out. I mean things that are like of quality content, quality broadcast. And you know what? I actually wonder if that's what Twitter is going to start trying to do. I mean, we have YouTube TV, we've got Netflix. Oh, that's not really live, but it is kind of on demand. But what if there was something like Twitter TV? Okay, what if there was something like that where there's always something going live, where there is it is a network of broadcasts, but it's live stuff. It's the live that we know, not the Jerry Lee Lewis or Jerry Lewis, phone-a-thons where they just go on and on for hours until they get enough pledge dollars. That's not what I'm talking about. I think what it is that I think this really hits at the core of what makes live video really great, really appealing, and why it's something that we need to consider. I was having a conversation the other day with somebody, talking to them, encouraging them to be thinking about how to use live video. Now, live video is not the same as radio. It's different. It's not the same as TV. Although now we're starting to get to the point where when you stream TV, you get a lot more data back, that you know how long and what they're watching, and don't be fooled, because they do. But when it comes to things like radio, how do you know actually what your listenership is? How do you know that? But yet that's the advertising model that we're coming out of. And I'm telling you, as much as radio has faded away is the main way, I don't fully believe that everybody listens to the radio quite the same way anymore. I know I don't. I actually listen to live video. I listen to live broadcasts. But what I'm missing, though, is that go-to channel of where do you get your news? Where do you get your updates that's reliable and consistent and even? We just seem to be missing that in general. And I think that's a great opportunity. I mean, there's some standouts out there, but what if you could just do that from your Twitter feed? That's where I'm going. So I think this might actually be one of the better opportunities for Twitter to stand out in this field of stories and disappearing videos and and instant messaging. I think that they have an opportunity here to really make a difference with their platform. Now, having said that, how many of you guys saw the headline, and I was pleasantly surprised by this. Twitter shares spike about 10%. They go up about 10%. I didn't think that was actually possible. I thought there was a law against that now, that there were regulations that prevented Twitter from sharing that they have a growth, okay? But no, in all seriousness, guys, we know that Twitter has not necessarily been bad. It's just not popular. Although we will say, I just to be able to go back, and if I had that magic button, I would click and bring in like an old clip where it would be, well, Twitter does have its problems. It has a very lax and a very slow response time to all of like the internet bullying. They block certain people. It feels like they pick and choose who and what they're going to block and things like this. So having said that, okay, Twitter, if they can get their act together, they're in a place now where I think that they can actually show some revenue growth, some user growth. And it doesn't have to be stellar. They just need to be consistent. They need to make some improvements. And they need to repair what I think their brand image is. I think that Twitter looks very stale compared, but I think it has a much more solid base. It has a lot longer track history than Snapchat, or at least in the effective way that people are using it. I'm not talking about the longevity of the company, but here's the thing. Jack Dorsey, the CEO, he actually made some interesting comments in terms of what he thought was of value. He gave some comments on Trump and his use of Twitter, or the way maybe some people think he abuses Twitter. Either way, I actually thought that was a very interesting way, but then as I read, I realized it was an excellent PC way of him explaining that he's just glad that somebody's using his platform. So moving on from that, guys, I will say this: a lot of the innovations that we've seen now pushing the field, and I'm not talking about VR yet, but a lot of the stories, a lot of the instant messaging type ideas are really the brainchild of Snapchat. And they've come out, and they Snapchat made it very easy, but then the other platforms made it very accessible by just literally swallowing it up and duplicating those efforts on other platforms. Okay, so having said that, guys, I'm really actually kind of excited to see, oh, maybe this is a little bit of a turnaround, because this is first quarter. Twitter's starting to come out with some numbers. I can't wait to actually see what Snapchat has for numbers, and as far as what they're going to share with what they're growing, maybe what they see as earning potential, how the company can get out from behind Instagram and Facebook, at least in just sharing what their real value is in this kind of a market, and not just to a super niche community. So how many of you guys, I don't know about you guys, I have been seeing in my news feed a lot of this face app. Okay, where they morph your face and they blend the images together, and I think it's kind of cool. I really do. But apparently they've had to apologize for building a racist AI. I didn't know that was really possible. I thought the algorithm was impersonal, but I get what they're saying, that apparently there's been some issues. The app, what it does, it allows the user to take a picture and their own face, kind of filter them together. And it's, you can change your age, your gender, and all those kinds of things like that. But in an email statement, the Face app's founder and CEO, who told us, we are deeply sorry for this unquestionably serious issue. It's an unfortunate side effect of the underlying neural network caused by the training set bias, not intended behavior. To mitigate the issue, we have renamed the effect to exclude any positive connotation associated with it. I'm kind of reading through this. I'm going like, what? Basically, it was biased. Basically, it put photos together that didn't go together, and apparently it made, if you want to talk about like how hot somebody was, it was racist, in that if you were hot, you weren't a particular, maybe it was whether if you weren't black or Latino or whatever it is. I think it's basically saying only white people are hot. I think that's what they were saying, and I think that that's a big problem, obviously. And come on, guys, don't you think that you would test that out, maybe say before you launched it? I don't know. So anyway, I think it's funny how quickly that these AI apps, these face over apps they are fun when they're fun, but we got to really be careful, because I mean, it's a big world. And if we're not actually really taking it easy on, if we're not actually taking it easy on what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish, I think a lot of people are going to end up getting themselves in some trouble. All right, guys. So that's Talk Social News to me. I know there's some other news articles out there. We can talk about those in the after show. But first, I actually want to talk about today's show topic. But first, I want to say thank you to Terry Johnson for being a community manager for Live Talk Nation. I have a couple others. I see one of them was on today. Kim Collins. We're gonna be adding a couple people to the Live Talk team. And if you are interested, I just say, hey, reach out to me. Let me know. You can actually even just drop it in the comment, but you got to make sure you tag me, because it's really hard sometimes to find all the comments on the Facebook feed. But Anyway, having said that, guys, let's get into today's topic. Like, is there casual social media, or is it really all serious? And I'm probably talking mainly about businesses, but I want to talk about the crossover for you guys. Is social media all fun and games, or is there a real serious side to this? Hey, let's get going. So, that being said, thank you guys for joining me. This is episode 17 of Jonathan Tripp Live. We've been doing this now on and off. I started the renumbering sessions for 2017 for a reason. We had done a lot of other shows on Blab, and if I had like snaps on my shirt instead of buttons, I'd just rip it off. And because I've got my Blab T-shirt on, I was feeling nostalgic today. I love the fact that we have those platforms, and we can actually go back and remember those good times. Those were good times, not all the time, but they were all good times. And we were able to hop on, going on live. We were able to make some really great connections. I mean, we made some really great connections. It put big, untouchable people in some really accessible ways. And we loved it because it in some ways, it kind of evened some of the playing field, but it allowed us to get some behind the scenes, actually get to talk to people in a way that I don't even think it was easy for them to do. And because of that, they had to pick and choose what they did with their time. But I love the fact that, and I made some really, really great friends in this. But I want to talk today about, is there casual in social media? And I kind of preface this by saying I'm kind of thinking about it from a business angle. If you have a business, is there a time when you can be casual on social media? Or do you really need to be strategic with everything that you're doing? Do you really need to be very careful about what those things are that you're saying and that you're doing, as opposed to, say, your personal account where maybe you take that selfie, it just doesn't, like, there's something in the background and maybe it kind of comes off as funny, but that same situation when it comes to a business, you can get in a lot of trouble. Just like what we were talking about with the Face app, where maybe it doesn't blend quite the way that you want it. It doesn't show the thing that you wanted, and you post it and someone gets offended. On your personal account, people can just say, hey, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. But when it comes to a business, now we have a PR nightmare or potential for it. And I'm not talking about dragging people off of planes, because I really have a really hard time thinking of a worse way that could have been handled. I think the guy should have gotten up and left, but I think the way that the airlines handled it, it just made matters worse. But how many times do we think about that in our business when we're posting things? I'm going to be probably pretty transparent about this, but I want to bring over some of the Facebook comments, and I can't get it to come on over. It'll think about it in just a minute. There is it going to come on over? Because I have to bring the screen up so that I can actually see it a little bit more, because this is actually one of the really important times. And by the way, guys, I do want to say thank you guys for joining me today. I like that. It's kind of fun to have you guys out there. And I know I'm broadcasting on a couple channels, but honestly, Facebook is that's the place to be today. But how many of you guys actually have a business, or have run a business, or have been in charge of, been in a place where you're the one to make the decision about what goes out on social media or how to represent the company? If you do, just drop me a quick little comment. It's like, I know that feeling. I've been there. Okay. So here's the thing. Yeah. Okay. Maya, I see it. I know Bobby. I know you've been out there. Mia Voss, you're very interesting when it comes to this, because you are your brand. You are personally your business. I would think this affects you very, very directly. Not in a, like, I don't really care, I'm just going to do whatever I'm going to do kind of sense. I really actually think that when we think of social media in this regard, we need to be really, really aware of what we do and where we do, and the message that we're sending out. Yep. Mia knows what I'm talking about. Yep. And I love the fact that I'm just going down through this. I'm like, yep, business owner, business owner, business owner. Yep, business owner. I love that. Like, it's so important. But I think this is oftentimes a really overlooked topic because we're supposed to make social media fun. We're supposed to make it like that personal thing. This is where you get to know me and get to know the brand. But I'm telling you, social media is not just a hangout. Social media is a place that people see you. And that is a very distinct message in my mind. Anywhere that people see me when they're thinking of a business, you think about like when a speaker goes to an event and they're the keynote speaker. Okay, I haven't been a keynote speaker. I don't know. I'm not ready for a keynote speaker, but I've watched enough and I've seen enough that, you know what, when they're on stage, they're representing the conference. And then when they walk off stage, they're still representing the conference. When the CEO is at home, right, and he gets into a cab of his own company, and he's filmed harassing people, he is still representing the company. And you guys know this, but somehow we've accepted this idea that social media, when it comes to business, oh, well, it's okay. All we need to do, we just need to know that that it's social, and we need to have a place that we're going to let our hair down. Okay. So Jen, I love it. Yes, I love it. You're getting pinned for that. That is a pin worthy. Thank you. I'm going to take that as a compliment, Jen. And for those of you guys that don't know, I got a great question. The number one question Jonathan asked about social media, what's your goal? Yes, there's a reason for this. Okay. And no, there really is. And when it comes to, look, is your personal brand being represented, or are you representing a company? It doesn't really matter in that regard. What really matters is that how are you presenting yourself? How are you putting yourself out there in a way that benefits or positively represents your company? Nobody can say that United Airlines, even though maybe they were legally in the right or whatever, said that they did the best thing that they should have done in that situation. I'm going to tell you, they got an F. They failed. No repeats, no retries. They're just hoping that this thing goes away. I mean, Pepsi was like that, and they were like, thank goodness for United Airlines. Okay, and it just keeps going. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen over the weekend. You guys kind of know what I'm talking about, right? But here's the problem. I think the problem is that and this is just a little bit of talk from the other week, and I posted a couple times on Instagram this week about it. Here's one of the big problems about this, okay? I think oftentimes we're pushed to think in terms of what I want to do, what's my passion, and letting that be a business driver. And I think that's okay. And somebody brought up a really good point on one of the comments on my Instagram. They say, look, no, I think it's a little bit of both. It's not just follow your passion, but it's certainly not just follow every opportunity. Now, granted, that's not what I'm talking about. What I was talking about was, look, follow the opportunity, not just the passion. Passion, we're going to call that your hobby. Okay. But when it comes to making business decisions, I think more often than not, the vast majority of us need to get our heads on straight, and we need to be thinking, what is the best thing that I should be doing for my brand? What's the best thing that I should be doing to take us the next step forward? Not just what's fun, not just what's comfortable, not what's just easy. That is not going to cut it. Because that's what you do on vacations. That's what you do with your hobbies, guys. That's what you do maybe when you're being creative and you're trying to say, oh, let's try this, okay? So where are we at now? I think this, and I feel like I'm talking with my hands a lot today. I'm gonna take this. My plan it out. I like that. So social media. You guys heard me say it a little bit earlier, and we'll kind of sum up with this. Social media is not just a place to go make friends. Maybe it was at first. Maybe it was. Now, it hasn't lost that aspect, but that's not the only place. And there is a time and a place for you to talk business, and there's also a time and a place where you need to be friends. You need to be real people. And I think what we're afraid of on the consumer side, on the end user side, the personal profile side, if I want to use like that kind of a terminology, and I say that so you guys understand where I'm coming from. I think once we understand that sort of that sort of mindset. Look, we're looking not to be sold to. We're looking to have somebody and find somebody that has a solution for my problem. My problem today may not necessarily be the problem that I've got tomorrow, but guess what? I know there's a company out there. I know there's a solution out there. I can Google it. I can YouTube it. Personally, I don't use Facebook to find how-tos on things or to find articles. That's not what I use it for. But you guys kind of get my point. I use like a Facebook or things like that, more of those personal networking to be able to connect with my friends, maybe some business colleagues or something like this. That's what I use it for. But when it comes to what is business and versus what is personal, I think the lines are blurred, and rightly so. I don't go out of my house. I don't go downtown to have a cup of coffee only to know, well, it is a town, so this is probably all business. No, I go there to see the business, and I go there also to meet my friends. I don't see why there's not a way for business savvy organizations or brands that they can't figure that out and try to leverage their business in a way that is going to benefit people in a social, friendly, positive way. And I think we miss that. And we get confused, and we think that it has to be all or nothing. And so, guys, this is where I'm calling you out as a business and as a brand. Step up your game and figure it out. Connect with people with their real problems, finding real solutions, not just promoting more of your programs. That's why people are sick of it, and that's why it stopped working. So guys, with that, what I'm going to tell you right now is, guys, I'm going to be going over to smiletime.com. We're going to have an after chat, and I challenge you, or I welcome you. Maybe I'll just say I'm not challenged. We'll just welcome you to come on over there. Give me a couple minutes, though, because I got to shut this down, then I got to go over there and start it up and all that kind of stuff. But guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I love doing these shows. We are here Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern. Almost every Friday next week, we're going to have a different topic. Guys, thank you. If you haven't already, you can join up Live Talk Nation. Thank you to VitMug for just kind of helping put all this together. I really appreciate it. I love today's a little bit more casual, a little bit more personal, kind of get into it, a little bit more rant style. But guys, keep the comments going. I love it. I'll see you guys soon as I can be over in Smile Time. But was there anybody I forgot to thank? I don't remember. But guys, join us over in Smile Time. Take care, guys. Great to see you.